Hello everyone! This tutorial will show you how to control media playback of media elements. You can control media playback manually or automatically. The first way is to use player controls. Select a media element. In the Properties pane, open Media. Then select Controls to turn player controls on. Let's preview in browser. Second, you can use buttons, in other words, events and actions to manually control playback. Let's see the button here. There are many media actions that can help control media playback. You can also create buttons to call JavaScript functions. Let's see how the button works. So you can use player controls or buttons to add manual playback. For automatic playback, you can use autoplay property, timeline triggers, or playback animations. Autoplay lets the media play automatically on desktop browsers. Turn autoplay on by selecting the autoplay checkbox in the media section. Let's preview. Second, use timeline triggers to control playback automatically. In the timeline pane, click the Insert Trigger button. Click Add Action and select the media action you want. I will choose Start Media to play the video from the start. Finally, you can use playback animations to control media playback. By default, any media element has a playback property. Click Add Playback to add a playback animation. Select Start to make the media play from the start. Click the arrow to direct the animation to where you want to start the playback, or right-click to cut, copy, or delete the control. Apart from Start, 4 other controls are familiar and easy to understand except the last one, Pause. The Pause control lets you jump to a certain time point within the media. Take a look at this scene. The two elements display the same video, both play with playback animation. At the 5th second, add a pause to the left one and a pause to the right one. For the pause, specify a certain time point. Let's take the 40th. Now see how each control behaves. Both videos pause at the same time. However, where the left one pauses at the 5th second, the right one jumps to and pauses at the 40th. And that's about the pauses control. So I share with you 5 ways to control media playback. And I want to remind you 2 things. First is about mobile compatibility. Because automatic playback is not allowed on mobile browsers, only user-initiated playback like clicking the button is acceptable. Second, for automatic controls, you need to consider what I call timeline compatibility. The playback initiated by autoplay or triggers does ignore timeline triggers. Only playback initiated by playback animations gets along with timeline triggers. Let me explain by showing a demo. Again, you see 2 elements that display the same video. One plays with the trigger placed at the start of the timeline, while the other goes with a playback animation. At the 5th second, add the triggers at 6 to the 40th. Then at the 45th, add the triggers that pause the timeline. Let's preview to see what happens. A 6 timeline trigger here, and a pause timeline. You can see that the video on the left still plays, while the right one already stops. The playback of the right one is consistent with the triggers. Meanwhile, the playback of the left one ignores all the triggers. So it's all about media playback. Bye for now.